Today's lecture is on failures in payments. So road maintenance is one of the important components in the entire road system, right? So the maintenance operation involves the assessment of the road condition, then adopting the most appropriate maintenance steps. So even if the highways are well designed and constructed, they may require maintenance, the extent of which will depend on several factors including the payment type. Okay, so various types of failures in the payments ranging from minor and localized failure to major failures and general failures do take place on the roads. Okay, so these failures may be due to one or combination of several causes. So what are these causes? So coming to general causes of payment failures, so we have defects in the quality of materials used. So it's a very low quality materials which are used in the payments. So then defects in the construction method and the quality control during construction. So we need to check what is the quality control. Okay, what is the quality control in the construction process? We need to check the quality. Okay, so inadequate surface or subsurface drainage in the locality resulting in the stagnation of water. So this inadequate surface drainage will result in the stagnation of water in the subgrade and will lead to the failure of payments. So increase in the magnitude of the wheel loads and number of load repetitions, so that will due to the increased in traffic volume. So due to increase in the traffic volume, what will happen? It will increase in the magnitude of the wheel loads. Okay, and this will lead to the payment failures. Then even the settlement of foundation of the embankment of the fill material itself will also cause the payment failure. Then various environmental factors including heavy rainfall, the erosion of the soil, high water table will also cause payment failures, right? Next, a flexible payment failure, it is defined by the formation of the potholes, the cracks, the localized depressions and the settlements. Okay, so the localized depression normally is followed with heaving in the vicinity. So the sequence develops a wavy payment surface. So the failure of one or any one or more components of the payment surface develops the waves and corrugations on the payment surface or the longitudinal ruts. Okay, so payment unevenness may itself be considered. Okay, the payment unevenness may itself be considered as a failure wherever it is excessive. So the subject of the payment distress and failure is considered complex as several factors contribute, okay, to the payment deterioration and failure. Now the aging and the oxidation of the bituminous films lead to the deterioration of the bituminous payments. So the cement concrete payments may develop cracks and deteriorate due to the repeated loads, okay, and fatigue effects. So due to these repeated loads, okay, what happens is the cement concrete payments will develop cracks. So due to the temperature effects, the newly constructed cement concrete pavement also may develop cracks even if no vehicles moves on them. So the failures of the rigid pavement starts from joints, corners and edges of the slabs. So as you can see here, these are the various failures in flexible pavement. So we have the failure in the subgrade, failure in the base course, failure in the wearing course. So the localized settlement of any one component layer of the flexible pavement structure could be enough to cause the pavement failure. So this demands that each one of the layers should be carefully designed, okay, and laid. So we need to carefully design each layers, so thus to maintain the stability of the pavement structure as a whole. Each layer should be stable within itself and thereby make the total pavement maintain its stability. Okay, so it may be seen that ultimately there is a surface deformation, okay, when failure takes place either in the subgrade, okay, either in the subgrade or the base or the surface course. So there's a surface deformation when the failure takes place either in the subgrade, base or the surface. So let us see the failures in the subgrade. Okay, as you can see in this figure here, so one of the prime cause of the flexible pavement failure is the excessive deformation in the subgrade soil. So this can be noticed in the form of excessive undulations or waves and corrugations in the pavement surface, and also the depressions followed by heaving of the pavement surface. Okay, so the lateral shoving of the pavement near the edge, okay, near the edge along the wheel path of the vehicles is due to the insufficient bearing capacity or a shear failure in the subgrade soil. Okay, so the excessive unevenness of pavement surface is considered as the pavement failure. So the failure of the subgrade may be attributed to two basic reasons. So the first one is inadequate stability. The second one is the excessive stress applications. Okay, so the inadequate stability, why it is arised? It is maybe due to the inherent weakness of the soil. Okay, this inadequate stability arises due to the weakness of the soil itself, or due to excessive moisture or improper compaction. Okay, inadequate stability, it will arise due to, first of all, weakness of the soil, if there is excessive moisture, or if it is the soil is not compacted properly, right? Then excessive stress application, how does this occur? It is due to inadequate pavement thickness, okay, or loads in excess of the design value. So if the applied stress, okay, if the applied stress on the subgrade or pavement is very low when compared to its bearing capacity, the deformation due to the load will be elastic or fully recovered when the load is released. So if the compaction of the layers is not adequate with reference to the subsequent loading, what happens is part of the deformation may be permanent due to the compaction of the soil. So this is called as a consolidation deformation. But if the applied stress is excessive with respect to the stability, okay, with respect to stability, and if the plastic flow takes place in the case of the wet clay soil, this deformation is called as the plastic deformation and is not partly recoverable. Okay, so you can see here this is the failures in the subgrade. So the failure due to improper compaction of the subgrade and pavement layers, as you can see in this figure. Okay, this type of damage, the type of the damage in flexible pavements that can be caused by the traffic due to the subgrade failure or due to inadequate and improper compaction of the subgrade and other pavement layers. Okay, you can see in this figure here. So coming to the failures in the subbase or the base courses. So inadequate stability or strength. Okay, first one is inadequate stability or strength. The second one is the loss of binding action. Okay, so these failures occur due to the following: then loss of the base course materials, then inadequate wearing course, use of inferior materials and crushing of the base course materials, then lack of lateral confinement for the granular base course. So let us see each one in detail. So the first one is the inadequate stability or the strength. So why this occurs? Inadequate stability or strength. So first of all, due to poor mix proportioning or inadequate thickness. So these are the main reasons, okay, for the lack of stability or strength of the subbase or the base course. Then the soft varieties of the stone aggregates. Okay, this also makes the base course weak. Okay, the soft stone aggregates, what happened? The base course will become weaker. Then improper quality control during construction results in the poor base course. We should always check the quality control during the construction process. Okay, it's very, very important. Then next one is loss of binding action. Okay, so due to the inherent movement of the aggregates in the subbase or the base course layers under repeated stress applications, the composite structure of the layers get disturbed. Okay, so this results in the loosening of the soil mass and formation of the alligator cracks. As you can see here, this is a figure showing alligator cracks. Okay, so this alligator cracks will occur. Okay, this will result in the loosening of the soil mass and it will form this alligator cracks on the bituminous surfacing of the flexible pavement. So there is also loss of the binding action resulting in the low stability and poor load transmitting property of the pavement layer. So excessive permanent deformations are thus caused in these layers. Okay, so next one is the loss of the base course materials. So the loss of the base course materials is only possible when the base course is not covered with the wearing course. Okay, how this loss of bearing base course materials? So it is possible only when the base course is not covered with a wearing course or the wearing course has completely worn out, right? So due to the fast moving vehicles plying on the road, there is a suction caused between the pneumatic tires and the exposed base course materials. So this causes the removal of the binding material in the WBM base, and the stone aggregates are left in the loose state. So the exposed aggregates, the exposed aggregates in the base course also may form dust due to the abrading action and the attrition effect. So with further use of such pavement sections, there is a loss of stone aggregates forming potholes, right? So potholes are formed. So the removal of the materials is known as a raveling. Okay, so dust nuisance also develops under this circumstances. So what are the preventive measures? So the preventive measures include repair of the potholes, and by painting the surface with dust palliative or providing a suitable surface treatment. This is very important preventive measure. So in WBM roads, it is convenient to spread a thin layer of soil to serve as a binding material after the rains, right? Which also forms a suitable cushion to prevent the raveling of stones. So these are some of the very important preventive measures. Next, inadequate wearing course is one of the failure in the sub-base, the base courses. So absence of the wearing course or inadequate thickness or stability of the wearing course exposes the base course to the damaging effect of the climatic variations, mainly due to the rains, the frost action and the traffic. So depending upon the type, intensity and the volume of traffic, a suitable type and thickness of the wearing course is provided on the base course. Then using inferior materials will also lead to the failures in the sub-base or base courses. So many inferior materials, mainly structural failures, are attributed to the use of inferior materials in the paving job. So we should avoid using all these inferior materials, and we need to check the quality in the construction process. So next is the failure of the wearing course. So failure of the wearing course are observed due to the lack of proper mix design. So improper gradation of aggregates, inadequate binder content and inferior type of binder will result in the poor bituminous surfacing. So the bituminous construction requires a high degree of quality control, since over or underestimated binder content are both greatly damaging to the resulting paving mix, including the temperature controls. So there are various types of flexible pavement failures. So there's a listed here. So the first one is the alligator cracking. Next is a consolidation of pavement layers, the shear failure, longitudinal cracking, the frost heaving, lack of binding to the lower course, reflection cracking, formation of waves and corrugations. So let us understand what is this alligator cracking. So you can see here, this is a figure showing alligator cracks. It's a figure of alligator cracking. You can see here the alligator cracks are formed. So it is a most common type of failure and occurs due to the relative movement of the pavement materials. So this may be caused by the repeated application of heavy wheel loads, resulting in fatigue failure, or due to the moisture variations, resulting in swelling and shrinkage of the subgrade and other pavement material. So this alligator cracks is caused if the heavy wheel loads are applied, which will result in the fatigue failure. It will also be caused due to the moisture variations. Due to moisture variation, what happens is it will result in swelling and shrinkage of the subgrade, and alligator cracks will be formed. Next is consolidation of the pavement layers. So formation of ruts are mainly attributed to the consolidation of one or more layers of the pavement. So the repeated application of the loads under the same wheel path causes the cumulative deformation, resulting in consolidation, deformation or the longitudinal ruts. So shallow ruts on the surfacing course can also be due to the wearing along the wheel path. So you can see here, this is a figure of formation of ruts. So you can see this this is a formation of ruts. Okay, you can see here this also the ruts, which are formation of ruts figure. Okay, so next is a shear failure. So shear failures are associated with inherent weakness of the pavement mixtures. Okay, the shearing, you can see here the shearing resistance being low due to the inadequate stability or excessive heaving loading. So the shear failure causes upheaval. You can see in this figure the shear failure will cause upheaval of the pavement materials by forming a fracture or cracking. Next is a longitudinal cracking. So due to the frost action and differential volume changes in the subgrade, this longitudinal cracks, okay, you can see in this figure the longitudinal cracks are formed is caused in the pavement traversing through the full pavement thickness. So the settlement of the field and the sliding of the side slopes also will cause this type of failure. Okay, so how this failure is caused is due to the frost action and the differential volume changes. Okay, in the subgrade what happens is longitudinal cracks will be formed. So also the settlement of the field and sliding of the slide slopes will also cause longitudinal cracking. Next is a frost heaving. So in shear failure, the upheaval portion of the pavement is followed with a depression. Okay, shear failure, it is upheaval portion of pavement is followed with a depression, whereas in frost heaving there is mostly a localized heaving. You can see a localized heaving up the pavement portion depending upon the groundwater and the climatic conditions. So this is a figure of frost heaving. Okay, this is the upheaval due to the frost. You can see here there's upheaval which is caused due to the frost action. So lack of binding to the lower layer. So slipping occurs when the surface course, okay, surface course is not bound with the underlying base. So this results in opening up and loss of the pavement materials, forming patches or potholes. So as a result, what will happen? Potholes will be formed. So this slipping action occurs when the surface course is not bound with the base. So what will happen? The result is opening up and the loss of pavement materials, which will result in the potholes. So such conditions are frequent in case when bituminous surfacing is provided over existing cement concrete base or the soil cement base course. Okay, so this condition is more pronounced when the tack coat or prime coat in between the two layers is lacking. You can see our failures due to the lack of binding. Okay, there's a loss of the surfacing and the bituminous surfacing. Then we have reflection cracking. So this type of a cracking is observed in the bituminous overlays provided over the existing cement concrete pavements. So the crack pattern as existing in the cement concrete pavements are mostly reflected on the bituminous surfacing in the same pattern. So structural action of the total pavement section is not much influenced by the presence of the reflection cracks, but since the cracks appear at the surface, this allow the surface water to seep through and cause damage to the soil subgrade or result in the mud pumping. So reflection cracking is observed in the bituminous overlays which is provided over the existing cement concrete pavements. Okay. So with this I come to the end of this lecture.